Pay attention, try not to sleep. We'll get through this together. I am terrified to be here today, so go easy on me. Okay. If you didn't know already, you're here to learn about proposals today, right? Everybody knows what a proposal is. You're an expert in proposals, right? A plan or suggestion, especially a formal or written one, on what we're focusing on. Put forward for consideration or discussion by others, right? Simplest format, that's what a proposal is. It's a suggestion. It's a recommendation. It's a presentation. It's a bid you're putting out there. You're trying to get a project approved for your senior class project, right? Other types of proposals out there we're going to talk about today. And I'm not going to do it in a boring way, hopefully. So stick with me, participate, and we'll be just fine. Because why? You're stuck here for, what, 45, 50 minutes? There's nowhere you can go. I get to hand out 3 detentions to whoever I want. I'm looking at you right now. Either one, both good candidates. I work for Jewel Concrete. Probably won't have a whole lot of time to talk about what I do today, but I've been doing it for a long time, and we use proposals every day. Whether you're in a safety meeting trying to get somebody to buy into doing the right thing so they go home in one piece, or presenting an idea to change the business, make lives better for people, or you need money for a new piece of equipment to improve efficiency, productivity out in the plant. All those things take proposals. So I got a little practice at it. I'd like to tell you a little bit about it today. And also understand this accounts for about 70% of your final grade, and you don't graduate if you don't ace this. So we do need to pay attention, right? I can't back up all those numbers. But in the real world, you use proposals every day, and it's a very important, useful life skill. So hopefully you get something out of this, and I'm not doing it just for fun. But it's a little embarrassing. Does anybody have a quarter I can borrow? Need to go grab a Coke from the vending machine.
I got you.
Or you got me? What's your name, good sir?
I'm Nick.
You're Nick? Oh, I heard about you. Excellent. Excellent. We're short on time. I'll get this after the presentation, but thank you very much. Here's the door. You guys ready to walk through and learn about some proposals? All right. Who's at the door? You know, don't you? You look like you know. Trick or treat. This is the most simple proposal that exists in the world, right? Somehow everyone agreed that on a certain day you dress your kids up and send them to strangers' houses where all they have to do is ring the doorbell and look cute or look scary, and they get candy. That's it. It works. Everybody's happy. Kids are happy. Folks handing out candy are happy. Everybody has a good time. You know exactly what is expected. This is a proposal, right, in its simplest form. We're talking about being clear. We're going to talk about being concise today. Talk about keeping things simple. This, in its simple form, is as great as it gets when it comes to doing a proposal. You know what's expected. You know what's on the table. Transaction's completed. Everybody moves on, and we're happy. Everybody recognize this group right here? Can't hear you.
Girl Scouts.
Girl Scout, absolutely. You guys love Girl Scout cookies, right? You gotta get your Thin Mints, your Do-si-dos. Every year they come around. You see them, they don't even have to tell you why they're there. You know they've got cookies and you want them. It's like, let me have a box. Go ahead and give me another box. Now, this is my favorite time of year. Why don't you come back next year? I'll buy some more boxes from you. That's an easy sell. They have to do much work at all. You know exactly what they're there for. Business transaction takes place. Everybody's happy. You get your Girl Scout cookies, right? All right. Some of you may be thinking about this definition of a proposal. Hopefully not quite yet, but I don't judge. This is as simple as it gets as well. You know, guy pops down on one knee, pulls out a rock, doesn't have to say anything. He can make up some mumbly jumbly romantic stuff. But you know what the question is. Is it yes or is it no? That's not how it went down, right? Then you go into the real world, maybe get into business, and you have to do a little meeting in front of the board or your peers, or put up some PowerPoint presentations, talk about some numbers, and it gets pretty boring. So we're trying to stay away from that stuff today. But those two are proposals. You're trying to get a project approved so you can graduate. Usually in business, you're trying to get money to do something. But both conceptually work the same. So business plans, written formal proposals, Got to give you a few details on that today, or I'm going to get in trouble. So we'll try to get into that. I forgot to tell you, I left my wallet at home. And the yellow light came on in the car today. I'm out of gas. Does anybody have 20 bucks I can borrow? Got to fill the tank on the way back home. I won't make it back to Waco.
I don't have anybody on.
Anybody?
Miss Taylor was on here.
I know she's
today.
poor.
Yeah, she always brings money to school.
Does anybody? I mean, I got to make it back to work today. I got to pick up my daughter after school. What's your name, sir?
Oh.
Thank you. Appreciate that. That's awesome. First class didn't give it up. I mean, it's embarrassing, but I got to get back. So thank you very much. Just hang on to that. For about A on that math test, right? Okay. And I'm just going to move on like none of that mattered, right? It's a good trick. You should try it sometime. All right. We're going to talk about the anatomy of a proposal today, right? Everybody knows what anatomy is. So the first thing you need to know is you have to offer an idea. You got to put something out there. Then you've got to explain the details. You've got to explain the rules. You got to tell people how this thing works, how it's going to go down, what you're trying to accomplish, how you're going to do it. Then you need to cause a response. You need to have some kind of call to action. And I like the anatomy analogy here. You got a skeleton, right? Everybody knows that. But you got to come up with an idea from your head. You got to think it up from that noggin up there, right? It's not just a hat rack. You know? Then you get into the body of the proposal. You know, the details, the rules. This is the guts of it. This is where it really comes out. And then somehow, some way, you get down to the bottom of it and you get a response. Either somebody runs away from you, they want nothing to do with it, or if you did your job well, they're going to come towards you. They'll be walking towards you, hoping. So that's the feet. See, I connected that together. I'm corny. It's okay to laugh at that. But some things you need to know that will help you as you write your proposals. You got to know your audience, or you'll have no audience. It's pretty clever. You guys, I know absolutely nothing about. All I know is that I'm outdated and obsolete, and don't have a clue what you guys are up to today. But if you're trying to get a proposal passed, you probably want to do some research. You want to know who you're trying to reach and what they're interested in, what motivates them or inspires them. What do they want? If you don't know, you better ask them. You better ask them beforehand. Get your homework done. You need to know what kind of communication styles they prefer. Some people out on the football field, they like to get yelled at. That's motivating for them. You know, drop down and give me 10. Some people, that'll hurt their feelings, and they'll curl up in a little ball and cry. So you got to know your audience, what works for them, what doesn't work for them. Because if you don't reach them, you're wasting your time. You're spinning your wheels. You need to know how they process that information, how they think through things, and what triggers that response. Because ultimately, you're wanting a yes to whatever you're pitching, right? You guys did some pitches last week, is that what I understand? Mm-hmm. You had to get up in front of the class and speak? How was that for you?
Scary.
Scary?
No.
Nerve-wracking? Now imagine doing it for the entire class, every day. Yeah. Engage the audience. If you do that, it makes it a breeze. You know, just have a conversation with somebody, get your point across. Nobody gets hurt, right? Time flies whether or not you're having fun. So might as well make the best of it. So knowing your audience is going to help you shape your presentation and what details you need to put into it and how to gear it towards the audience. We've got two very different types of audiences right here. Now, I haven't been to a concert in a long time, but I've never been to either types of these concerts, right? Well, in the top left corner, you got people dressed up in fancy tuxedos, and they're real conservative, real quiet, real polite, probably, eating hors d'oeuvres and talking about fancy stuff. Down in the bottom right corner, that probably looks more like what you guys got to today, right? I see, yeah, I could tell back there. Little crowd surfing, little, looks like there was a request to put your hands in the air and wave them as if you don't care. You know, you're probably wearing jeans, t-shirts, maybe there's some tattoos, some weird smells going on there. It's a totally different audience, totally different crowd. But the artists on stage, they know what it takes to get their people going. If one tried to present to the other, it's not going to work. You got to match up those expectations. So make sure you know what your audience is, who they are, what they need to hear, and play to them. The next P in the proposals is the presentation of the proposal, right? We've got this thing that folks today don't like to do. It's called having a conversation. Folks, you can just sit there and text in your phone, right? Actually have a real live sit down human interaction with somebody, where you present an idea, present a thought, get them going, tell them a joke. Who knows? Try to wake them up a little bit. You've got webinars, Skype business calls, where folks from all over the world can look at the same content, see each other, talk to each other at the same time. You've got formal speeches where people get up and ramble on about stuff that doesn't matter, or give PowerPoint lectures, like fantastic ones, like what you're seeing today. Okay to laugh? Okay. And then the ultimate of all presentations, the hands-on demo, intense in your face, proposal, the pitch on the Shark Tank. You guys watched Shark Tank? Ever seen it before?
Mm-hmm.
Get up in front of Mr. Wonderful. He had to survive, what, up to 3 minutes last week? Doing your pitches? How do you think you'd survive in the tank? If you're not prepared, not very well, right? You hear that theme. Tell them, know your numbers when you come in. So you can get that yes. So the written proposals, that's, again, what I'm supposed to focus on a little bit, but that's pretty boring. So we're just going to talk about some concepts and themes that will help you gear your mind towards writing a good written proposal. Okay, next is the presentation of the proposal. This is my B slide, right? Because I've got a lot of B words on here. Get it? Okay, you're still awake? First thing you need to know is be professional, right? Excuse me, that wasn't very professional. Present yourself, present your idea in a professional manner. If you don't, kind of look like a fool. You got to respect the person you're pitching to get that respect back. It's pretty important. Be clear and be concise. You want to keep things as simple as you can. If you're presenting a strong technical presentation, you don't want to use a lot of fancy math formulas and big words that people don't know anything about. You're going to lose them. You're going to put them to sleep. We're on the verge right now, and I'm trying to throw jokes in here. So if you put in some jargon that they cannot understand, then they won't follow it, and you're spinning your wheels. Be concise and to the point. If there's a concept or a formula that is actually crucial to your presentation or your pitch, you got to include that. But you got to present it in a way that makes it so simple that everybody understands it. And you know that they understand it. You can't assume anything. You've got to be confident and you've got to be knowledgeable in your proposal, in your material. If you're not, you lose your credibility. What's the worst thing in the world? Listening to something that has no idea what they're talking about. The whole time, you're just sitting there thinking in your head, when can I get out of here? Much like you're doing now. You're not thinking about what they're trying to present to you and what they're trying to tell you. Probably all got that crazy uncle that comes over and likes to tell stories, right? And you have to listen to. You know they're not true, but you got to, when you get up in front of your group, when you get up in front of your judges, if you will, be confident of this material, what you're trying to put out there. If you know it's a controversial topic and that there's someone that's probably not on board with it, be aware of the counterpoints, be aware of the arguments against it, and already have the answers. Again, it goes back to doing your homework and being prepared. You got to be visual. That's why you got to put the B on the screen, right? So you can see it. 55% of information taken in during a presentation is all done on visual. Only about 7% is done through text, through speech. You're not going to remember anything I said today, but you might remember a few of these pictures that help drive home a concept. Might inspire you to do something correctly as you write these proposals. 3 days later, only about 50% of what you see in a presentation is what you're going to remember. That's kind of sad. So you better make sure that you're professional in presenting it, you're clear and concise, you're very confident when you do it, and very visual so you help them remember it. Next thing, you got to be excited. Don't have to do cartwheels necessarily or do cheerleader activities, but you got to have some energy, you got to have some enthusiasm. You got to act like it matters to you, or why does anybody want to listen to you? If it's not important to you, it's not important to anybody else. Overlying principle, keep it simple. No matter what you do, keep it simple so they can understand it, so you get your message across very easily, very quickly. So now we're going to drive home some of those points. First one, being professional, right? There's some tools available in the world today through Microsoft called Spell Check. You guys ever used that before? If you're not good at spelling, you see a lot of little red squiggly lines, right? It's trying to tell you something. Listen to what it's trying to tell you. Case in point, this September, you should be entering kindergarten. What's wrong with that sentence? Excellent. That means you graduated kindergarten with flying colors, I'm sure. Spelling is a good thing. It's one of those details that, hey, if you can't get it right here, how are you going to carry through and execute your proposal? There's a grammar check, so read this sentence right here. Any volunteers? Okay, didn't think so. He could breath easier now that the examination was over. So no red squiggly lines here because that's an actual word, right? Not the one they were looking for. So you gotta have your grammar check, and this thing's called proofreading. Don't rely totally on Microsoft. It's not gonna give you all the answers because again, if that's a real word, it flies. Doesn't catch it, doesn't flag anything. But it's not what you intended to say. So she went to the stage to receive her diploma. Yeah, about half of you will be doing that here in a few months, right? Hopefully, if all goes well, you make it through this class today, right? If you keep, I'm free, except after C. Everybody's heard that for years. But if you don't pay attention to that level of detail in something simple like this, the folks you're pitching to, it's like, well, where else does that show up in your life? On your next birthday, the pediatrician would be 40. I don't know anybody turning 40.
Nutrition, 40.
Both of those misspelled wrong again. So I think we've gone on enough about this. I'm not going to read the last sentence there, but I tell you that's a real life example. Somebody applied for a safety coordinator position at my company, and that was on their resume. And I can assure you that it had nothing to do with evaluating the situation, the sentence right here. But that's what they intended for it to say. As the blank stares in the room, nobody's catching this.
I caught it.
You got it? Okay. Use these tools. Be professional. Present your work so it looks professional as well. Anybody ever a kid before?
Nobody
No.
know. What'd you say?
Was anybody ever a kid before?
Everyone's
Okay, good. So, know my audience, right? You're all kids at one time. Did you read books with your parents, your folks? Stuart Little?
No.
No? You saw the movie. Okay, of course. The book's always better than the movie, right? Here's a passage from the book. All right, it says, in the loveliest town of all where the houses were white and high, and the elms and the trees and grew higher, and the trees, yada, 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 this long sentence, and flowed quietly under a bridge, yada, yada, and Stuart stopped to get a drink at Sarsaparilla. That's a really long paragraph, right? All you had to say was Stuart stopped for a drink in a charming town. You get the same message. All right? Miss D would be mad if I go bashing books and literature and stuff like that. So, books are great, stories, narratives, good stuff, but not in a proposal. It's not the place for it. Be concise. Get it down to the point or Stuart's already fallen asleep. You've already lost. Okay, how about in this experiment, chromatography was used to analyze amino acids in a solution. Standards were used to identify unknown amino acids in a mixture. Ascending layer chromatography with an isopropanol-based solvent was used to separate the amino acids, which were then detected with mean hydrogen. Is anybody Sheldon here? I'm not. So you already fell asleep, and I'm only halfway through that. Point being, don't overcomplicate things. Fancy technical jargon. That may be necessary in some proposals, but you better explain it in a way that captures your audience's attention so they can understand it, so they can actually know what those big words mean. Okay. The elevator pitch. This is where we're talking about being knowledgeable and confident of our material. Has anybody ever been on an elevator before? Know what it's all about?
Weird.
Weird, yeah. You push the button, get inside, doors close, and hopefully you don't make eye contact with anybody inside. Retain your bodily fluids or functions while you're inside. About 5 to 10 second ride, right? So they say, if you can command and present your proposal so well that the person in there gets what you're talking about and is so excited about it that they want to find out more about it after the ride's over, that's the level to which you need to know your material when you present a proposal. That's being confident. That's being knowledgeable of the material. It may come up sometime, maybe more in the business world. Lucky number 7. Any winners? What do you know about lucky number 7?
Get you rich.
Sure. I know that you got 7 seconds to make a first impression. Be it good, be it bad, indifferent. So that's what it's going to be for the rest of your life. You get 7 seconds to make that first impression. I also know that visual imagery has a better chance of being retained in your heads. If you don't use a lot of visual imagery, you're going to lose the bullet point list on PowerPoint slides. Nobody cares. Whole paragraph full of jumbly gumbly gook. Nobody cares. Imagery, that's how you associate, a topic to a picture, store it in your brain. You'll never forget it. You got 7 seconds to make a first impression. So choose wisely what imagery you put out there and try to include it in your presentations when appropriate. Next up, hey, what'd you do Friday night? Seriously, what'd you do Friday night? Why not?
Had a basketball game.
It was the basketball game? Were you playing or just going? You're playing? All right. Did any of your friends come to see you? Did any of your friends come to watch? So who in here went to see the basketball game Friday? You did? You went with some buddies?
No, I played too.
You played too? Awesome. Everybody played the basketball game Friday night. All right, so you probably told your friends and family, hey, guys, come out and watch this game. It's going to be awesome. We're playing so-and-so, and we're going to run this new play, and we're going to score a lot of points, and you're going to be proud of me, right? It's going to be a good time? All right, maybe you did that, maybe you didn't. But you probably didn't say, hey, guys, we got this game. We're going to suck. We're going to get killed. We're going to get slaughtered. I'm not going to make any baskets. You want to come watch? You have to pay $5 to get in. It's a good deal, right?
Sometimes they tell us that.
Sometimes.
Most of the time, that's why we go.
You got to see the slaughter. Okay. Well, anybody else do anything fun Friday night? What'd you do?
I saw a fight.
You saw a fight? Outstanding. You go by yourself?
Yeah.
You got some people energized, right?
Yeah.
Got them fired up. You convinced them. You compelled them. It's like, hey, this is going to be awesome. Let's go. If not, this is going to suck. Don't follow me, right? You got to have that energy and enthusiasm. If you can't convey that in your proposal, no one else is going to get excited about it either. Very important concept. I know how you guys feel about math class. It's your favorite class, right? You guys love math homework. You do it every night. You do it in your spare time. I'm sure you feel the same way about government class, right? Politics, all that good stuff. Not going to preach to you about that today. But on this stage, Democratic National Convention, Republican, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You got a room full of thousands of people, and they can put anybody they want on the stage. It doesn't matter what they say. They're talking to you about issues. They're using buzzwords. The timbre of their voice, the inflection of their voice, the pace of their speech, the rhythm of their voice. It builds this momentum. It draws you in. And suddenly this whole room goes berserk. You guys aren't excited about it, but these folks are. They might not agree with what's being said on stage. They might not even like a person on stage, but it doesn't matter because they speak in a way that gets you fired up. It's called energizing the base. You got some American flag, Statue of Liberty, some imagery again that helps, stir up some emotion, get you fired up about things. Yes, you got to have that passion. You got to have that enthusiasm, and you have to convey it in your proposals. Okay. You believe me? That presentation is important yet? A little bit, sort of, halfway there. I don't see any excitement, so I haven't done my job yet. Okay, we got to keep going then. Who knows what this is? Ooh. Yeah, we stirred up some emotion there, didn't we? Kraft macaroni and cheese, the things dreams are made of. Liquid gold, right?
Yes.
Throw some Velveeta in there. Get crazy. Everybody loves macaroni and cheese. Who doesn't? It's like all my daughter ate for 3 years, right? She's still alive, so can't be that bad. You want to go out and buy this? Maybe. Huh? Maybe. How about this? You can go out and buy this box?
No.
It's macaroni and cheese. It tells you right there in the box.
But it's not visually appealing.
It's not visually appealing.
And it weighs less.
There's nothing wrong with this if this is what you do eat at home. It's very appealing. I enjoy it myself. But 2/3 of consumer decisions are based upon packaging, and that's all about presentation. Apples to apples. If you had your choice, you're going home with Kraft macaroni and cheese. as I was looking for images online to put up here, I had to sort through 7 pages of Google Images just to get to another box of macaroni and cheese. That wasn't crap. So they have done a great job of getting that point across, I would say. Believe me yet? No?
Yes.
Still not convinced? A little bit? Campbell's soup. 2 cans of chicken noodle soup. 2 identical cans, right?
No.
Not quite.
One looks
Maybe.
beat up.
One looks beat up. That's the exact same Campbell's soup. I'm sure it tastes delicious.
That just means you get a discount store.
I like the way you think. This can on the left, it's good, right? This can on the right, it's no way. I eat that. It's the exact same soup inside. And again, you might get that discount at the store for it just because of the way it looks. There's nothing wrong with the product. Again, it's that first impression of it that's so important. That's why presentation is important. I got you convinced yet? Yeah?
Yes.
That's good. Then we can stop. I'll see y'all later. No, it's not that easy. One last example of driving home. Anybody got any younger siblings in the house? Yeah? So you know what this is all about. Huggies. Man, 12 hours of protection. Triple layer protection at that. It's ultra snug and dry. Man, that sounds nice. It's even endorsed by Mickey Mouse. What could be better than that? Or you can have diapers. When it comes to containing the situation, what choice are you going to make? Let me tell you, I worked with a machine operator that worked at the Tyco plant making diapers for seven years before he came over with us. He made these exact diapers, and he assures me that they are all made with the same raw materials. They are all exactly the same diapers. You're just putting a different image on it, and you're putting it in a different box, depending on where it goes. It's the exact same thing. But which one are you going to buy if you have your way? Mickey Mouse endorsed 12 hours of protection, happy baby huggies? Or diapers with the kid aiming at you? He's just tempting you. There's a reason why Huggies is number 1 and the number 2 business. So, presentation's everything. The next P up for discussion is the power of persuasion. Okay? The essence of a proposal is to persuade a decision in your favor. Get somebody on board with what you want, right? How persuasive are you? I don't know. Can you get the sale? Can you get your project approved? You get the funds you want for your project? You get that promotion or raise from the boss? Get somebody to marry you? You get buy-in from an audience today? I don't know. Can you talk to your parents and get that curfew extended? You promise them this, you promise them that, just let me stay out till 11 or 12 or whatever it is. How persuasive can you be? That's really what a proposal comes down to. So there's different levels of persuasion, if you will. But basically, they all get you what you want based on your ability to persuade. So let's move on to something you guys might be familiar with. Anybody recognize this? You know some of these people? Recognize this situation? Good. Then I know my audience. This is what I'm going to call an easy sell for this exercise. Friday nights in the fall in Axtell, what's going on?
Football.
You're out there on the field playing, cheering, playing an instrument, right? Yes, you have another stellar season on the way to watching other folks play at state, right?
They came back. Yeah, one.
I don't know exactly what year this is.
I don't know. These images are readily available on the internet, so
Yeah.
it does look like you're a little bit behind.
Hey, look at this big kid
Come
right
on,
there.
guys. Back to the.
Yeah. What's going on up in the stands, though?
Cheering.
You got parents, you got relatives, you got folks from the community, you got just football enthusiasts, cheering enthusiasts, band enthusiasts. You've got all kinds of people that know and love you, and they're coming to support you. They're bought into what's going on. You know, there's no surprises there. They've got a familiarity with the product you're trying to sell, and that's, you know, school spirit and a sense of community. You go try to sell them that, you know, give me the 2019 Axtell football shirt. Sure, give me a shirt, no problem. Give me 2. Take one, so-and-so couldn't make it today. Sell them the 50-50 raffle ticket. They're going to buy it, right? They know it's all going towards something good, towards your senior class trip, right? That luxury cruise on the yacht we're all looking forward to, right? That's an easy sell. You've got a captivated audience that already knows what you're trying to present, much like the Girl Scouts, much like Halloween, right? Now let's start with a blank slate. because this is something you didn't know you needed before. Years ago, they used to have cave paintings to communicate. Then they invented a telegraph and this thing called writing letters that a mailman would deliver to your house, a mail. These different versions of phones. Yeah, I remember when the cordless phone came out. That was everything. Now you've got more computing power in your pocket than the government had in 1970. You can look at this thing, you know what time it is, you know the weather, you can watch your favorite TV show, listen to music, surf stuff on the web, use this thing to wake up every morning. If my battery died, I'd still be asleep right now. It's pretty important today, but you didn't know you needed this thing. And this Sunday night, what are you going to be doing?
Watching football.
Watching the Super Bowl. No, you're watching commercials. There's some football going on, but you're watching the commercials. Commercials' job is to get you compelled to buy their product. They have a short amount of time to do it. They use a lot of visual imagery to do it. They're convincing you that you needed something that you didn't know existed, or didn't know that you needed, that you need to keep up with somebody else. That's what their job is. All right? Let's shift gears a little bit. What do you see right now?
Homeless food.
You just assume this is a homeless guy?
Yeah. Or a guy pretending.
He's got cardboard.
I just
spare change cups.
Okay. So the majority are saying, yeah, this homeless guy got a cup out, he wants some change, right? That's automatically what we think. You didn't have to say anything. You didn't have to propose anything. Just the situation proposes it, right? So it's compelling you. Throw some change in the cup or not, right? You didn't have to do anything. Some guys go through a little more effort, right? You know, have that military display. It conjures up some emotions. Everybody has a relative or has a friend that's involved in the military, and we thank them for their service. And, you know, the American flag, some patriotic imagery, you know, stirs some emotions there. See, we got a cute dog. How can you say no to that?
I didn't even spell accepted right.
I was going to point that out, but thank you. Yeah, it's ACC. But still, you're probably going to wonder, should I? You're going to be compelled. He's approaching you on that human nature level, on that charitable, right thing to do type of level. Just one thing I know you guys get behind in Axel, it's good causes. T-shirts. You guys have your orange out, you have your teal out, you have your black out. You're always getting behind good causes. So it's that human nature that compels you to want to get involved, to want to do the right things, to basically accept their proposal, throw some change in the glass, figuratively speaking. Everybody knows the Chicago Cubs? 100 years without a World Series win, right? Or victory. But I tell you, I haven't seen so many Cub fans than when they're making a playoff run. Everybody wants to be on that bandwagon. They want to be part of something. So it's compelling you to get involved. I tell you, this is where I went wrong with the last class. I lost them here because we went into math and graphs and numbers. It's boring for a second. But let me tell you, when you're doing a proposal, so far what you've seen, is community support. It's, playing to your human nature. It's subjective feeling stuff. Numbers, data, this is objective. You can't argue with it. It's logic, right? You're proving a case. If you're pitching a proposal and you can back it with real-world numbers that tell a story, not only tell a story, but show with, empirical data that, hey, this is a true thing, you might be more likely to get your idea across, especially in the business world. Companies pay big time money to have tools that track downtime in plants, categorize into different machines that are showing slow performance. So maybe we need to invest in another piece of equipment that'll get this thing turned around, get more cycles per hour, help you forecast, help you change your schedule, fire people, expand your operation, buy other businesses. Bankers, stockholders, or stock investors, they're always looking at market reports, indexes, seeing what's going on out there. They're using data to show trends, to prove history, to make the best decisions they can about investments for the future. If you have a proposal that you can back with real numbers, you might have a better chance of getting somebody to say yes to it. So who's got a job in here? Oh wow, lots of people. Who loves their job the most? I think you. You do. Now, where do you work? Where do you work?
An RV park.
An RV park?
Yeah.
What do you do there?
Mow grass.
You mow grass. Okay, do you use scissors to cut the grass?
No.
No, you use a lawnmower? Nice riding lawnmower? Like state of the art, 0 turn, John Deere? Alright, I can't pick you. Give me somebody else. Thanks for sharing them. Who else lives there, John? What'd you do?
Flip patties.
Where at?
Freddy's.
At Freddy's? I love going to Freddy's because they got those shakes, right? The concretes. And what do? You have to scoop things out, put them in a glass, and blend it. It's kind of a pain, right?
A little bit.
A little bit. What if you could get the Super Shake Maker 2000? Did it all for you. You just push a button. Would that make your life easier? Sure would. Would make money for the company, sending out more shakes faster? Absolutely. Would you invest $2,000 of your own money?
No.
To get that? Why not?
I would rather make the shakes myself.
It's a tough sell, right? That's what we're talking about, return on investments, right? The whole what's in it for me, the risk versus reward. I picked on you earlier. You gave me $25 for a Coke. I told you I was thirsty, this is what I needed. You handed it over. You knew you're probably never going to see that quarter again, right? Thank you. Thank you for your contribution, right? Pretty easy. $20 for gas money. I don't know what happened to it, but I give this back to you. First period, want to give up any money today. It's a tough sell. I mean, I made a compelling argument. Had to go pick up my daughter. Had to get back to work. Yeah, I don't want to give up that $20. You know, if you loaned it to a friend and you didn't get it back, you're probably gonna have some feelings there, right? And some words are gonna be said. It's only $20. What if you're trying to get $2 million for a new piece of equipment to improve your business? And I know you're just pitching high school projects today, but one day you're gonna be pitching to your boss for the big time money. And basically, the more you're asking for, the more you're asking for them to risk, the more is going to be expected in return. That consequently means the more persuasive you're going to have to be to win that proposal. So you're going to have to put more effort into it. The higher the stakes, the more that is expected in return, more work you have to do to get there to make that happen. So hopefully you all be successful at that because you're going to be experts at proposals by the time you get there, right? No? No? You fail sometimes? Yeah? Take some practice? True. Persistence. That's why that's the next P in the proposal presentation. I like alliteration. So, success rarely comes on the first try. Ask any overnight success, you know, in the business world today. Amazon, did it happen overnight? Sure did. It was overnight success. That's what they say. It's on all the blogs. No, it took tens of 20s of years of hard work and ideas and tries and failings and research and blood, sweat, and tears to make that happen. Ask anybody with a successful business story that just becomes an overnight success. They probably just didn't think of that idea the previous day. Put it in terms you understand. Everybody know Ralphie from A Christmas Story? What does Ralphie want more than anything in the world? The Red Ryder BB gun. But did he wait till Christmas Eve to tell his folks about it? Probably not. He's been eating, sleeping, and breathing this thing for months, right? That's all he talks about. You know, he listens to the radio show. He gets the decoder ring. He's pitching it to Santa. You know, he keeps constantly talking about this thing. It's not a surprise. He's done this tactic we call planting the seed, which might be useful for you with your parents sometimes. Let's say you want to go out Friday night. Well, start Sunday. Start ahead of time. Tell them, hey, this is going on. But before then, I'm going to get my chores done this week. I'm going to get my homework done. I'm going to make sure that the grass is mowed. You know, you're going to get everything knocked out. So there's no reason why you can't go out Friday night, right? You have to put that idea out there. You've got to give them time to digest it. You know, let them think about it. Drop hints. You know, water that seed, if you will. And eventually it blooms and grows into this wonderful idea that they had to say, hey, you know what? You've done a great job. You've earned it. You go out Friday night and have a good time. Or here's your Red Ryder BB gun. You're still going to shoot your eye out. But, it's called planting the seed. If you can get people to buy into your ideas and make them think it's their idea over time, you have a better chance of having them say yes to whatever you're proposing. Now, if you do fail, if your proposal does get kicked back, remember, listen to that feedback. You know, what is it that they didn't like about it? Where did you go wrong? You know, what were the shortcomings? If you can fix that, and you can go back and pitch it again and tell them what you did different to fix that specific thing, you might get that yes answer. I've got to remind you to do what is asked and always meet the requirements for whatever the project is. Because those folks that you're either trying to get your project approved from, you know, Dr. Proctor, or those folks you're trying to get money for or for a project in the real world, they've got the leverage. They hold the power position. You're trying to get their money. Have you persuaded them? Have you done what they've asked? Have you jumped through the hoops for them? So even if it seems silly, you gotta cater to that audience and know what they're requiring in order for them to say yes. One more tactic you can deploy with persistence in mind is the squeaky wheel gets the grease. You guys heard that phrase before? They say it all the time where I work. Basically, you keep nagging folks. You stay like Ralphie, right? Keep bringing it up every time you see somebody. And eventually, they're going to see you coming down the hall. Oh, man, here comes that guy. He's going to ask me for this again. One of these times, they're going to say yes just to shut you up. Maybe. So don't give up. Don't ever give up. Like Jimmy V. It's probably before most of your times. But what do you think about that so far? Good? Yeah? Okay, things you got to remember. Remember visual. It's good. Know your audience. Know who you're presenting to. Know how to speak to them in their language. Presentation. You know, make sure you're presenting yourself in a professional manner. Looks good. Sounds good. Comes across the right way. Has that visual imagery that stays in their mind. Gets them excited about things. Makes them want to be on board and say yes to you. You know, your persuasiveness. You know, what tactics will you employ? Is it an easy sell? Is it a harder sell? Can you back it up with data? Can you prove the case versus just whining for some cash or give me my way or do what I want? And don't give up. Be persistent. All right. We're good on time, right? Okay, I work for a concrete manufacturing facility, which is super exciting. We take rocks and sand and mix them with cement and water, and we put it through a machine, through a mold, vibrate it, compact it, and get a concrete block. I know that's what all of you want to do when you grow up. So, it works out right. You got to take that block and then put it in a giant oven overnight. Bake it. Make it strong. And this project right here is to replace some racks in our kiln. That's what we call that up. So imagine the new gym, right? Now make it twice as big. Make the ceiling 30 feet tall. Put shelves. Put giant metal shelves throughout this entire room. You're going to have concrete product sitting on metal plates that weigh about 400 pounds a piece. 600 pounds of material. 1,000 pounds if you're good with math. I have to include that in there. They go 22 stacks high. You've got 17 rows across, tunnels if you will, 13 stacks deep. It's about 3.5 million pounds worth of material in this kiln. Just metal shelves. Remember, to bake these things, you've got to add heat. You've got to add humidity, so you're firing moisture into this thing. What does moisture and heat and metal do over time? Little science for it. Corrodes, it rusts, wears out. Plus, you know, you've got 18,000 pound cars driving around picking up these plates, ramming into shelves. You know, they damage some stuff. 20 years that stuff's been in there. So this proposal is to replace it because we had it inspected and we found this rust, we found this corrosion. You can go up and, you know, flick this metal shelf and it falls apart. 3.5 million pounds of weight. Sounds like a no-brainer, right? Go back and replace it, or else it's going to fall. It's going to kill somebody. It's pretty serious consequences. Can't produce anymore. Can't make money for the company. Things shut down without this thing. Seems like a no-brainer. Still, there's pushback against this against this proposal. Why do you think that was?
Too expensive.
That's always going to be the first thing you get pushback on. Can't afford it. It's not in the budget. Maybe next year. What's the next thing they'll push back on? That's a good answer. That's number one answer. Formatting. Formatting. This proposal was submitted as page 1 on the left. You know, just a Word document. Should get into. There was a site visit report from the engineer that came and inspected this thing all the way from Germany. They're the expert. And there was a quote, a proposal from them on how much it's going to cost. And they said, you got to add the pictures. It's like, you're kidding me, right? You're kidding me. They're in the site report I submitted along with it. It's like, no, Big Boss is never going to open that up. You got to put everything you need in the report at one time. You got to make it simple. Again, you got to follow their rules. You got to jump through their hoops because you want that, in this case, $239,000 to fix this thing. Something that simple could hold up your proposal. All right, so now we have to talk about some boring stuff. but it's very crucial and important to correct proposal writing. It's the format of a written proposal. Okay, never bury the headlines, right? Come right out with it, like they do on Shark Tank. I'm so-and-so from this company. I want $2 million, and I'm going to give you 5% of the company. That's how they do it. You know exactly what's up from the get-go. We want some money. This is what we want it for. The first section is always going to be your scope or your introduction. It doesn't matter what you call it. You're just laying out a top level summary of what's going on. This kiln's been out there for 20 years. It's a harsh environment. Typical wear and tear and damage has taken place, and we need to replace these shelves and racks so that we can continue to run, so people don't die. It's pretty straightforward. Again, simple, concise. You got to talk about the impact. Okay, this is the detail. This is the plan on how it's going to go down. This is how we're going to fix it. This is what we're going to do. This engineer came out. They inspected things. They told us what we need to replace. This is how long it's going to take. This is the equipment we need to do it. It's there. Everything they need is right here at their fingertips. Then, of course, the big dollars, right? They want to know exactly how much money you need, what you're going to be spending, what you're going to be spending it on. And then they hope there's some kind of return on this investment, right? Proposals, they can take different shapes, different forms. What you're doing for this class project is going to be different than what you're doing to get a raise, what you're doing to get something by your parents, what you're doing to get money approved for a project at work one day. But they all take that same form, This one, instead of a scope, it's got an introduction. It was written towards somebody else. You got to know your audience. Say, hey, what are we doing? We need $250,000 to replace our forklifts. Can't move concrete block around without a forklift. It gets pretty heavy. Got strong guys, but they're not that strong. Anybody want to come work at concrete back there? No? All right, see me after. All right. Introduction. Say, hey, our leases are up. We need new ones. We use bad lifts in the past. We're getting these lifts to replace them. Here's some math in there. It's going to take X amount of dollars per month for this many months. Total's this. Lease numbers. They know exactly what they're getting. Everything's spelled out for them. Again, this is the boring part. If you can get really good at this, you make it look professional, you make the formatting look good, do it in the format they want, use your spell check, use your grammar check, proofread it, make sure it makes sense, get them excited about it, or at least tell them the consequences of what happens if you're not going to get that money. You may have a better chance of getting this thing approved. Any questions on the formatting of a written proposal? We've got a little bit more time right now, right? Quiet.
Any questions?
Okay, guys, I want to remind you, know that audience. Presentation's everything. Be as persuasive as you can be. The higher the risk, the higher the rewards. So make sure you're putting the right argument forward, and don't give up. Be persistent with it. With your written proposals, make sure they follow that same basic, skeleton approach, right? Give them your idea. Let them know what are the guts to make it happen. This is how it's gonna work. This is what it's gonna cost you. In order to get that yes or no or approval or money, whatever that proposal you're putting forward is. Overall, keep it simple. Keep it simple. Can't say enough about that. Just leave you with this thought. You'll never know what you can get unless you ask for it. So you never get anything if you don't ask. So go out and propose something today. Change the world so I can retire.
Regular tutorials.
Do you want me to have you that?
Hey, thanks. Thank you. Glad to have you.
I'm not going.
I gotta get a quick pass. Nothing up here.
I'm not going in there until after an open.
I can do that.
Can I stop recording?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for remembering.